Hi, welcome everybody. My name is Diana Catherine Plopa. I am here today to do a really fun thing. We haven't done this in a while. We're going to be talking to a brand new to me author. Before we get into her formal introduction, I'm just going to talk a little bit about who Pages Promotions is. We are a organization that believes in indie authors with all of our heart and soul. We support indie authors on their creative journey from concept to publication and promotion with equitable mentoring, professional services, and enthusiastic advocacy for writers of every age, stage, and genre. So, if you are an author and you would like to do something like we're doing tonight, feel free to reach out to us at pagespromotions.com and we'll be happy to help you enter the maddening world of indie authors. Tonight, we're going to introduce you to Preethi, and I am so not great at pronouncing very long foreign words, so I'm
That's
not even
okay.
going to try to butcher this. So, Preethi, will you please introduce us?
Yeah, my name is Preethi Saravanakumar. You can call me Preethi. That's
Perfect.
fine.
Perfect. Thank you so very much.
No problem.
Preethi is a software developer by profession. Writing poetry remains her major passion while she reads books and writes children's stories and poems. She blogs and writes poetry on Instagram. She has written hundreds of poems. Some of her poems have been published in a few magazines. Her first poetry book was published in 2011, and her first children's picture book was just published recently, and that's part of what we're going to talk about tonight. There's her website address right there on the screen, so you guys can see that. And we'll be showing you this screen again so that you don't have to scramble right now to write everything down. Preethi, welcome! I'm so
Thank
glad you're
you.
here.
I'm glad and I'm excited and also nervous. Thank you.
Don't worry about being nervous. This is us just standing
Uh,
around having a
yeah,
conversation. Don't worry about
yeah.
that. Um,
Thank you.
but but thank you very much for coming out tonight. I'm always excited when I get to meet a new author. Ask Marianne and Michael; they'll be happy to tell you how nuts I get. This thing and enthusiasm that you're seeing tonight is genuine because I'm a book nerd. So thank you very much for reaching out, and I'm really excited to learn about your work. Can you
Sure.
start, please, with just giving us a little bit of background on how you started on your writing journey? Where was it when you first said, hey, maybe this word thing is something I could do?
Yeah, sure. So when I was 10 years old, in my fifth grade, I think, yeah, in my fifth grade, there was a contest at school, like classroom contest. My English teacher, he asked us to write poetry, like a poem. He gave us 1 hour. He said, all of you write poetry. This is a contest. So my poem on nature won the first prize. So
That's
that is
great.
when I knew that, yeah, maybe I can write.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, 10. 10
Yeah.
years? Was it, did you say fifth grade? 10 years old?
Yes, about, yeah, I think, yeah, fifth grade. Yeah.
Fifth grade. Yeah, so that's about 10 years old. That's pretty awesome. Yay.
Yeah.
Um, so I I need to ask because I'm always curious about language. I'm curious about vocabulary and I'm curious about how different cultures use language. I know that India has a lot of different dialects. So can you tell us which dialect your region, that your home region speaks? And then can you talk a little bit about what your journey was like um, learning to translate 100% to English?
Okay. So I come from the southern part of India, and in our state we speak Tamil. It's called as it's written as Tamil, but it's pronounced as Tamil. It's a
Okay.
different letter which is exclusive to Tamil. So yeah, so we actually in India it's like English is the like if you want to learn in English medium school, you will learn everything, all the subjects in English, except for the language. And if you choose to learn in your regional language, you have options for that too. But I learned in an English medium school. So for me, English was like there from the beginning. I learned all the subjects in English. So my thinking, actually, I think more in English than my language. So
Okay.
yeah, it's like very common in India to learn in English medium schools.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
it
that's how
wasn't
it
like
is.
here in the United States, we take a foreign language as an elective, as an extra class in school. So
Yeah.
you were actually learning English alongside with studying in your native language as well.
Correct. We have language classes like we have first language, second language. The first language is the language that you're learning your course in. So that was English for me.
Okay.
And my second language was Hindi, which is the national language for in India.
Okay.
Because there are so many languages, we have one national language, um, that is Hindi. So that is my second language. And my
Okay.
third language is Tamil, which is my own language. Though we speak our language at home, that's different, but academically speaking, that's my third language.
I find that absolutely fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I mean, I've known people who are um, expats of their own country and they come to America, right? So it's the reverse, what we call expat.
Mm-hmm.
And I always find it fascinating that that you can switch brains that way. It's almost like a musician who spends time thinking in music language and then thinking in word language. I find that
Yeah.
remarkable because my brain doesn't split. You know? So it's one of those things that just fascinates me to tears. Tell us a little bit about why you chose the two specific genres, poetry and children's. Why those two genres instead of something else? Or are these just the first two you're doing and you're going to do more?
Uh, for me, poetry, as I said, I've been writing since I was 10 years old. So I love poetry. I think I can write, like, it's not scaring me, it's not intimidating me. So I know I can do it.
Okay.
And children's books and like children's literature, I love children, writing children's, like, I used to read a lot. And I just love it, like creating something for children, that concept.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So that's why I started writing. As far as other like novels or any stories are concerned, I don't think I can do justice as of now because, if I write, I should write for the Indian audience because that's where I grew up. So I will know the settings and people, culture, and everything. So I don't think I can do that justice if I write in a setting in USA or something because I don't know much about the culture. Maybe in future, if I am confident enough, maybe I can try. But as of now, I think the next thing would be a nonfiction book that I'm interested. Just like my thoughts and my opinions on some things. So
That's
that is,
fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that would be great. I will send you an email in a little while to a gentleman that I'm connected with. He is a writer here. He is
Mhm.
from India and he facilitates an Indian English magazine that you might be interested in being a part of.
Sure.
So
Thank you.
I
Mhm.
will connect you to him when we are done here. That might be fun for you as a way to expand your outreach for your writing.
Sure. Thank you.
So, Juliana, I know I'm putting you on
Hi.
the spot here, and I know you weren't expecting to be put on the spot here, but I'm doing it anyway because, my sandbox. Um, so, what's it like to do illustrations? I know you did the illustration for the children's book. How do you take a line of poetry or a line of a story and create the illustration? Did Preethi give you some ideas of what she was looking for, or did you work autonomously and then come together to talk about it after you did sketches?
Um, she gave me the test, and was very freely, very intuitive, and the image is coming, and was very I'm not prepared myself for this.
Oh, that's all right. I know
that's
I
okay.
kind of put you on the spot, but again, that's another one of those things that always fascinates me about translating words into images and back and forth. I work with my husband, who's an illustrator, and we're very fortunate that we live in the same house and we get to talk about it back and forth all the time. So I was curious what your experience was. Preethi, how did you find working with an illustrator? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, sure. This is my first time actually. I haven't hired or worked with anybody before. I just gave Juliana the poem that I was going to convert into a picture book, and I told her. She asked me about the tones, like would it be okay if she uses just the I don't know the technical terms, illustration art. I'm not an artist, so she asked me how the palette would look like. I think Juliana, did you say blue, red, and some colors you mentioned? So those colors, she just asked me about the colors, and I told her that I'm not an artist. I'm not sure about all that. You just do what comes to your mind. So that's how we created. And when she showed me the character first time, the boy, little boy, I really instantly loved like how she brought out all the feelings and emotions the boy is having. So
I
loved
felt
it.
Affinity stunt with the writing, and she gave me freedom to create with this. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to go.
That's all right. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
I
Okay.
can stay, but I can't speak.
Okay, that's fine. Not a problem. Preethi, would you like to read us your children's book?
Yeah, sure. So can I share my screen?
Yep, let's hope that the technology gods are on our side. Try it.
Okay.
You should be able to share. Try that.
Yeah.
There it is. Yep, perfect. Okay. I will let you read and I'll be quiet for a few minutes.
Yeah, sure. So the book is called as On a Snowy Day. It's a very short poem, which I converted into a picture book. So it's written by Preethi Saravanakumar, illustrated by Juliana Duclos. So this is the character, the little boy, on a snowy day. On a snowy day, I play. Everything is so cold and icy. I wish to have soup warm and spicy. I walk with my dad outside to play with snow. I hope the sun doesn't shine to make it flow. I hope the wind does not come through now to blow. My hands are freezing. I do not want to go. My snowman is fluffy and frosty. I love his big smile, oh so mighty. On a snowy day, I play. So that's the short poem.
That's great. Oh my gosh. I love the illustrations. They're so delicate. They're just, they're really, really delicate and really beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll stop sharing 1 minute.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much for reading that. That was really great.
No problem. Actually, I have another interesting fact about this poem.
Absolutely.
I actually did not, first when I wrote it, I did not intend it for a picture book. I just wrote a poem because I just felt like writing a poem. So when I wrote, I'm a fan of short structured poetry, form poetry. Like if there's a structure, I really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So this poem is written in the form symmetrical, which it has 7 syllables in the first line, and the same line repeats again at the end. Then there are 2 lines, 9 syllable lines, and it's mono-rhymed. And next there are 4 lines with 11 syllables each, and these are also mono-rhymed. And then again it repeats with the 7 syllables again, and then 2, 9, and then 7. So there's a structure. So this poem is written in symmetrical.
Excellent. Very cool. I don't have as much academic knowledge about poetry as maybe I probably should. I think that comes from studying in college when you're too young. I think poetry classes should be taught to old people. Because I don't think young people are mature enough to really understand the nuances of so much of the various poetry that's out there. But I know what I like, and I like that your children's book was gentle and very accessible to little people who maybe don't yet have a firm grasp of language. But it was so delicate that they were able to imagine what that would feel like. So I think you did a great job with it. I really love it.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Preethi so far about her children's work or anything really? She's pretty open to answering questions. Anyone? No? Okay, then we're going to keep going. Preethi, tell us about your poetry. I know that it's done in 9s. Can you explain that concept?
Yeah, sure. So this poetry book, Scribblings of My Soul, I don't know if you can see it.
Yep, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to share this screen right now so that you can, if I can remember how to share my screen. See, this is what happens when you get rusty. You can't remember how to do stuff. So there are the 2 books. So there's the cover, Scribblings of My Soul. And I love the cover image on this book.
Mm-hmm.
I love, it's just so beautiful. Really, really well done.
Yeah, if I can share the screen, I can show the full image of the cover.
Go ahead. Yep.
Thank you. Can you see it?
We can now. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah. So this the cover art also is Juliana's work. I asked her for a rainbow peacock. That's what I told her, and she gave me the first time she showed me this, and I loved it.
It is beautiful. You did a great job, Juliana. Well done.
Yeah. So the Scribblings of My Soul is a poetry compilation of 9 words, 9 sections, 9 emotions, 9 poems, and 9 artworks. Basically, the words are the following, like smile with all your heart, gathering strength from life, shedding any lingering pain, to learn the truth of love and hope, walking towards the light. This is my blurb. I used all the 9 words that I used in the book. And excellent. Each of these, thank you, each of these words have, like sections, have 9 poems in them and 1 artwork each.
So how did you, before you start reading, tell me how you decided on these 9 emotions? How did you choose these?
As I mentioned that I write poetry on Instagram page. So when I just wrote over the year, it just became like around 80 poems or something. So what I thought, like my poems have these positive ending to it, and that positive, uplifting kind of poems they are. And I had these, I wanted to just present it. Since there were a lot of poems, I thought, why not make it into another poetry book? So I was sitting with a list of poems I had, and then I saw these common things like happy poems, smile, and then about heart, strength. I saw these words, so I thought, okay, let me section everything into these words.
Excellent. Okay, so you found reoccurring themes and you organized the book that way.
Correct, yeah.
Well done. Why 9? Where did the number 9 come from?
I was thinking about, like, I have to choose same number of poems under each section. That was my thought. And when I was thinking 5, I thought it may be very less because I have a lot of poems. And then I thought, let me make it 10. And then I was just going through the number significance and everything. And I just found very good significance for 9 when I was reading. I have this answer in my book, like I have answered this question in the book also. It says, why I chose the number 9. 9 represents completion, but not the end. It represents end of one cycle as well as the transition. It's such a positive, hopeful number that is full of wisdom and compassion. The number 9 is powerful, mystical, and empowering all at once. That was my explanation.
Awesome. That's beautiful. I'm so heartened by the deep thought that went into creating this collection. When I created my poetry collection, I was very young. I was in my early 20s, and I just wrote what happened, and then I put it in an order that seemed to somehow work. There wasn't really any thought to it because, as I say, I was an immature poet at the time. So I'm really I'm really interested and as I say, heartwarmed that you were able to be so introspective and intuitive about how you organized this book. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Would you be kind enough to read some of this for us?
Sure. So I'll just share for 1 minute. Do I have to share this? Can you see
Your
it?
Screen is already shared. Yep.
Okay. So this is the first artwork. The first section is Smile. And I love how Juliana, she, her artwork reflects a young woman. And I love the sunflower.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Preethi. Did you need to share a different screen?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm seeing the cover, so you might want to share the other one.
Oh, let me stop and then share again.
Excellent. I didn't realize you had it in 2 separate files.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, now can you see?
Oh,
yeah,
that's nice.
Yep. Beautiful.
Yeah. So first, this was the first artwork she finished, and when she gave me, I really I loved the sunflower, because for me, sunflower, it signifies brightness, happiness, hope, and strength. So I told her, why not incorporate the sunflower in all the other artworks as well, like 9 sections. So she tried to do that in all she had the sunflower in all the artworks. Excellent. This is the first, so this is the first section. It says it's Smile. And I have a short micro for each section. So the first Smile micro poem says, it's like a header for each section. So your smile salves my anoxic aura. That is the micro. And then I'm reading one of the poems from this section. It says, the title is Same Pair of Wings. From your smile, I seize the spring. In your eyes, I let it all bloom and swing. As I dive into your soul, I discover our frequencies sing. I realize you and I share the same pair of wings. That's a short one.
Very nice.
Thank you. And the next one is, this is the artwork. Can you see this?
Yes.
Thank you. So this is Heart. And the micro poem header says, Dear Heart, do you beat to the rhythm of streaming scarlet and to the tune of orchestrating organs? And I'm going to read the poem, which is titled Dance With Me. Not at the sunset, nor while the moon rests, amidst the alluring fragrances of bloomed balsamic Arcadia, when the time freezes to honor our essences entwined, when the galaxy graces love, displaying the eternal aurora lights. When our hearts sing the same tunes, remembering our origins, memories revived, moments relived, masquerades revealed. Our eyes meet, the unsaid words relay, dance with me. We twirl in the eternal expanse, every breath and beat in sync, every step and sway in pink. Time or territory no longer exist. All there is now, just now, this moment, this truth, this me, this you.
Very beautiful. Wow.
Thank you.
You're going to read one poem from each section, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yay. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
There is time, right? Like,
oh yes,
okay.
We have plenty of time. Go ahead.
Okay, so this was from the heart section, and now the third section is strength. And I love this very much because I see yin and yang, the moon energy, and
Yes.
I love how she just did the whole thing. Juliana is really great.
Yeah, I love the moon and the sun faces inside the sunflower. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, so the header, the micro poem, the introduction says, soothing songs somberly sung, soak subconscious stillness. The poem I'm going to read is titled Feline Fragrance. Endurance emits enough elegance to enlighten, imbibing the art of conscious choosing, clarifies and filters like separating impurities from ore. It's a constant conflict to maintain a mindful level of grace, even through the gushing grief. When the unsaid words ring out pain, when the unsung songs dissipate to rain, oh, the unwritten stories scream in vain. Why should a life be entitled to remain unwritten and unsung, just constrained? Every tale carries a value, every tune has a tempo, every treasure has memories, memories that linger, linger to teach, teach to polish, polish to perfect, perfect to shine. These values and emotions that are evoked fill the hearts with precious senses abound, making the existence less dense. The less dense they are, the more they feel. Lighter they are, nothing can really affect deep. So now I flush out fear from the Polaroids of life. I free my inhibitions. I flap my wings of faith. I foster the newborn hope. I feast on the abundant wisdom. Fuming feline fragrance, I fly.
Nice. Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Keep going.
Sure. So this,
I'm really enjoying your reading. I want to hear more.
thank you so much. So the next section is life. And Juliana, I really loved how you used tree for representing life. It's beautiful. So the micro goes, a little sweet or a little sour. You are the spice that changes color of my lovely life. And the poem I'm going to read is called as For Deeds Paint the Journey. When tears speak volumes, when hearts seek memories, when words cannot express, when feelings seem numbed, lives touched, purpose etched, essence pledged. The eternal vacuum created that lingers echoes your deeds and soul's praise. Forever you'll be treasured and remembered. For deeds paint the journey, and journey frames the life. For deeds paint the journey, and journey frames the life. That was it. So the next section is pain. And the micro
This
poem.
also, I think, is a very striking piece of art.
Yeah,
I like this.
me too. I love this, and I love how the sunflowers are growing upright from the cracks. Yeah,
Yeah. That's what I found striking about it as well.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So the micro header goes like, all I want to know is what you. I'll start over. All I want to know is what you do to radiate just truth, even when compressed between disgrace and doubts. So the poem I'm going to read is called as Crippled. Crippled I lay, thinking of you. Love brought hope, hope brought purpose, purpose brought life. Broken promises, false praises, hidden truths, rough suits. Body numbed, mind succumbed, soul shunned, heart stunned. In the end, it was all a lie. On a bed of nails, crippled I lay. That's the poem.
Wow. Wow. I'm going to have to buy a copy of your book so that I can really take the time to digest it, because I feel that there are so many layers to the language that you're using. It's really quite striking.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. So the next section is truth. And the header is, truth in a way beckons enigmatic oppression. It's more like a quote. So the poem I'm going to read is called as Here Comes You. Through the loom to the moon, every aspect of you blooms. Some petals are fragile, some are thicker yet agile. From conception to creation, thoughts unfold, energies unwind, efforts unwithered. Despite failures, we try, we rework over and over again, till we complete, till we succeed. Twinkling eyes soak in the reality. Humble heart is filled with gratitude. Satiated soul admires the precious child, handmade, holistically hemmed, hammered to hung. On the day of truth, anxious mind meets hopeful heart. Stabilizing, we find a balance to face the art of living in the moment. Faithful hymns of prayers seem to soothe the nervous child within, sitting with ever-growing fear, unwillingly unsure. Is there light on the other side? What if I lose against the tide? Questions bubble as the climax begins. When the infinite bubbles overflow, we start to taste reality. We gain back our senses and momentum to walk our paths alone. For we realize it's a one way after all, and there's no way out. We make peace with our inner self. Inhale, exhale. We gather the strength and push through. And here comes you, the shining spark of light, showing the intricate artistry, radiating real joy of labor, teaching the power of liberating love. Here comes you, here comes you.
Nice.
So the next section is love. And the section headers goes like, in your light I find solace, in your love I gain grace. The poem I'm going to read is called as Your Butter Words. Your butter words, honey dipped, gently whipped, aptly quipped, profoundly pierce my presence, just enough to hallucinate me long after we part. I marinate in the lingering silkiness, soaking every bit of delicateness, honoring all the messy cuteness that complete the puzzle pieces. Senses awakened, solitude abandoned, sweet soul seasoned. My heart proudly pins the feelings and emotions, memories that caught your buttery words.
Very beautiful. I love this art. This particular piece shows some really beautiful emotion, and I think that's reflected back and forth through through the writing, and then reflected again in this piece. I think this piece of artwork complements the writing in this section very beautifully.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I love all the artworks Juliana did. So great.
We have two more sections, right?
Correct, yeah.
Excellent.
And the next section is hope. And I love how she used the crystals for hope.
Mm-hmm.
The section header says, my breathless soul searches for a gasp of fresh air, warm or cold, to color bleeding scars with hope. So the poem is titled The Diamonds in the Sky. When the diamonds in the sky light my long, lonely paths, a strange song of humming hope permeates profoundly to bathe my gentle child within. The child that saw the whole universe in the mother's, I'll repeat that. The child that saw the whole universe in the mother's womb, not knowing that predators ever exist, not knowing how cold the world could become, not knowing that the real merciless monsters wander outside to whip out worries from within that would layer one over the other again and again until there's a thick wall built encasing the helpless heart. Then the soulful and playful heart would reside restricted in a crafted case of suffocating anxious blocks that numb, touch and soundproof, unbreakable too. So I thank the glittering, gracious sky diamonds for awakening my memories, for reminding me to feel again, for showing me the ultimate magic of love by breaking the rock-like non-existent wall. I soak in the powerful wisdom in the moment I melt. I allow the silver light to wash away the illusion. I'm filled with feline strength, Fearlessly I roar. I walk, I wake, I win.
Nice.
That was it.
All right, we have one more, and then we're gonna see if anybody has any questions or comments, and then we're gonna spin the wheel of happiness and give away some books. So
Sure.
this will be the last reading.
Yeah. So this is the last section of the book. It's light. And the header says, halo of healing hope, love emits. This poem is titled Lost in the Wild. And there's a short story about it because I started this poem. I wrote like 3 stanzas when I think in 2015. And then I just didn't feel that there is this completion. So I couldn't complete it. I was like, I didn't feel like publishing it or posting it. I just felt something was still there.
Okay.
So I just let out, and I mean, I just let it be. And in 2021, last year, one night I just thought about this, and then I wrote the next 2 stanzas, and then it felt complete. So
excellent. Yeah, sometimes we have to let things simmer for a little bit. Put it on the back burner and let it kind of bubble and boil a little bit until it's cooked all the way.
True. Yeah. So it's called Lost in the Wild. River rushing, gushing, pushing, level of water rising, finicking, lush green lawns looping, routing. I find feathers fishing, looking, lost in the wild, jumping, kicking, little robins flying, gliding, sailing, lovely rainbows trailing, curving, little lily bunches rising, floating, warming bright sun shining, lighting, roaring rain shower, piercing, forcing, luring ebony, ebbing, flowing, lilacs murmur, shushing, hushing, emerald mountains cooling, calming, vast open skies spreading, reflecting, tiny heads of flowers swaying, smiling, sounds of animals roaring, raving, rich, radiant scenes playing, singing, makes all hearts feel soothing, loving. Is that not blissful, aligning, alluring? It's Mother Nature nurturing, blessing.
That's wonderful. I love the alliteration in that piece. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow, very well done. Can you, there you go. Now we can all clap and go, yay!
Thank you.
The Muppet Show, yay! Okay, thank you so much for your reading. Do we have any questions from our audience at this time? If you'd like, you can turn on your microphones and feel free to ask Preethi anything that's burning in your brain. Anybody?
Yeah, sure. Diana, I have one question for Preethi.
Go ahead, Deepa.
Yeah, I'm from Deepa. I'm Deepa from Austin. I just like to ask her, how long it take you to write a book? You have been a software developer, and you have been writing. So how the work schedule, how you managing, and how do you take it to write a book?
Hi, Deepa.
So before you answer, Preethi, hold on a second. Deepa, did you say you're joining us from Austin, Texas?
Yes.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. We're just up here in the little mitten in Michigan, so I'm so happy that you're here. Okay, Preethi, now that I've, exploded with enthusiasm, you can answer the question.
Yeah, so Deepa, I did not write these poems like at the time I was writing. I never thought about like publishing. I never had a deadline. I did not think about any book. So all these poems were like written over, I think about a year, like over a year. I just write every day, probably 1 or 2 poems a day, like that.
Wow.
So
it's great. It's good to know.
Thank you.
And, what's your first book which you read and made you cry, like as a poetry, as a reader, I mean, you should have read a lot of books. So, which is your more touching books, which made you feel or cry, which brought your emotion out? What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you share a book?
Um, no, no, not at the top of my mind. Like, I am generally not a person who really cries literally for anything. Like, I just
Not.
have that emotion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think long back, I think Great Expectations, that book, as a child, when I read, I think I was about maybe 12 or 13, I'm not sure. So that book was the first book that I really connected with the character, the main character, and I felt heavy.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was the book. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty intense book. That's
Yeah.
it's on the classic list for a reason, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Do we have any other questions from our audience tonight?
I just wanted to say, Ariadne, I'm in Vancouver area, Canada, and I just wanted to say,
Gosh, you're on the other side of the planet. That's fantastic. Oh my goodness.
I just wanted to say, this is Sharon, and I just wanted to say that it was so lovely to hear you reading, because when you were on the radio show, I was reading all your poems, and it was so more meaningful to me that you read them so beautifully. So hopefully you can come on and
Sure.
read them yourself. I have to go now, and we've got a whole bunch
Sure.
of things, but
Thank you.
honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, Ariane.
Thank you for coming.
So much.
Wow. Say hello
Bye.
to Canada for us. That's fantastic. Oh my God. That's so great. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I just want to tell her something. Preeti, your poems are so deep and powerful. There are so many things, we cannot convey through our words, and you have written it so beautifully, whatever you want to convey. And personally, I like the section Pain and Love very much. They are so deep and rich. And it's like almost you conveyed whatever I wanted to tell. And
Thank you,
we are already waiting for your next book.
Thank you.
I just have one question. Do you have any poem which is really very personal and very favorite to you? Or everything is your favorite?
No, the poems that I read today, the 9 poems, those are my favorite ones from each section. So you can take it that way. But usually whatever I write, obviously any artist, anybody who is creating, they'll love all their works equally.
Yes, I expected that.
Yeah, it's kind of like having children.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for such a wonderful book, Preeti. And
Thank
my
you,
daughter
Disha.
loved On a Snowy Day very much.
Excellent.
Thank you so
thank
much.
you so much for joining us. That's lovely. I have a question for you, Preethi. I know that when I wrote my collection of poetry, there were a bunch of pieces that didn't make it into the book.
Mhm.
Did you put all of the poetry that you had written up until the published date in the book, or were there some pieces that you left out? And how many did you leave out?
I would say I left out very few which didn't fit into these categories, these 9 sections.
Okay.
So that's it. But I think I tried to use up all the poems in them. But since it's restricted 9 in each section, I do have a few poems that I did not include.
Okay, so those will be forthcoming in the next collection, right?
Probably, yeah.
Excellent. Great. Any other questions before we go on to the Spinny Wheel of Happiness? That's the favorite part of our events.
Hi, this is Pavitra, and I'm Preeti's friend. I just want to say we are very proud of her.
Thank you, Pavitra. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's so great. I'm so glad everybody came out tonight. It's so nice when we have a big room like this. It's just lovely. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your night with us. We would like to give away some books. Preethi is being tremendously generous tonight, and she is going to let me spin the Wheel of Happiness 10 times.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, Marianne. It's like you all over again. We are going to spin the wheel 10 times. We're going to spin the first one to give away a copy of Preethi's children's book. And then, of course, because the theme of 9, we will be giving away 9 copies of the poetry book. So we're going to spin the wheel, and then don't leave right away because you got to figure out how to get your books. So hang on after we're done spinning the wheel. So we're going to spin it 10 times. Let me see if I can share that spinning wheel of happiness. Marianne, I would love it if you could tell me when you see it.
Yes, there it is.
Technology, fantastic.
There's
Now,
a lot of people.
yeah, isn't it great?
Wow.
Everybody who pre-registered for tonight's event by 6 p.m. got on the list. So there's 17 people on the list, which is fabulous. If you came into the room or registered after 6 o'clock, I didn't get your name on the list. So that's why we have people pre-register in advance. I'm not going to guarantee if the sound is going to work or not. So we're just going to go with that. Sometimes I make the technology work and sometimes I don't. And Preethi, if you would be kind enough to announce the names, because I don't want to butcher people's names because I think it's rude. Sure. So when the names come up, if you could announce them, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Spinning wheel number 1.
Deepa Shivraj.
Hey, could you guys hear the sound?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. It worked. Oh,
it went,
great.
whoa.
Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. Okay, so Deepa, you're winner number 1. Here we go, winner. So Deepa, you got a copy of On a Snowy Day, the children's book.
Wow. Thank you.
We're going to spin it 10 times or 9 times for the poetry book. And again, Preethi, if you could just announce the names when you see them on the screen.
Yeah, sure.
That would be great. Here we go.
Juliana. Oh no, 1 minute. No, Shagana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shagana.
Yep. Okay,
Yep.
Here we go.
Ryan Anand.
Here we go again. This is so much fun. I have so much fun doing this.
Saumya Tharuman.
And next. Marianne, you
Wow, hey.
Okay, here we go again.
Aryani Sawyer.
Okay.
I forgot to mention Aryani Sawyer. She's with the World Poetry Cafe and with Peace Poetry. She does the radio. She's with the radio station. She has a program every week or something.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We've got celebrities on our show tonight. This is fantastic. Okay, here we go. This is spinning wheel number 6.
Sarvan Raman.
And 7.
Sanjna Kumar.
And 8.
Diana Fellow.
And here's spinning wheel number 9.
Pavitra Viswanathan.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here to pronounce these things because, wow, I could not do that. There are some things I do well. Pronouncing foreign words is not one of them. Okay, here we go. This is the last spinning wheel for that last copy of the poetry book, Scribblings of My Soul. Here we go.
Ashita Prakash.
Yay! So exciting. Okay, so Preethi, I will send you the list of winners when we are done here so that you will make sure to have that in an email. And in the meantime, those of you who got your names called, you're probably going to want to know how it is you collect your books. Well, this is how you do it. You connect with Preethi at her email address, which is right here on the screen. It's a Gmail address. What you do is you write to her and you, in the subject line, put, I want a book. And then make sure that you send her in that email your full name and mailing address so that Preethi knows where to send your books. She will be mailing them probably media mail through the United States Postal Service, which is the least expensive way to do it. And that means you'll get them in 7 to 10 days after she mails them out. So make sure that you send her an email. Make sure that you send her this email in the next 24 hours so that we can give her proper respect in gathering her books and putting them all together. If you get with her 10 days from now, she'll already have gone to the post office. We don't want to make her do that twice. So contact Preethi at her email address here on the screen to collect your book. Thank you so much, Preethi, for being with us tonight. This was so much fun. I just had a blast. I don't know about the rest of you, but
Yeah,
I had
it
a
was
really
great.
good time.
It was
Thank
great.
you. Thank you all for coming, and thank you so much, Diana, for being such a lovely host. You
You're
eased
so
me
welcome.
inside.
Thank you. Like I say, I love meeting new to me authors and hearing new work. Now I have to go out and buy your books. So
Thank you.
You've got a guaranteed sale in me. So
Thank you, I'm honored.
Thank you everyone for coming tonight. Watch for us on Facebook. If you know somebody who was not able to attend tonight or somebody who came in late, didn't hear the entire reading, watch our Facebook page at Indie Reads. You can find us on Facebook at Indie Reads. In the next day, probably by tomorrow, the recording will be posted so that you can watch it and share it with everybody you know. Okay, any last words, Preethi, before we go? You know, we have this tradition of this thing that we call parting shots across the bow because I'm a sailor from way back. So do you have any last words that you'd like to share with our audience before we close out the night?
Yeah, sure. I just want to thank everyone for coming in and just, asking questions and commenting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for coming out. I'm so glad that we're doing this. I miss doing festivals, so I'm glad that we got to do another one tonight. For those of you who really enjoy poetry, we have another poet coming into the room next Saturday. That is Donnie Winter, and his second book is out. So if you know about Donnie or you'd like to meet another poet, come back next week and join us for that. The link to that event will be on our Facebook page as well. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Preetha. I really appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.